roofing program budgets for maintaining 95% of the roofs and replacing 5% each year. And it goes without saying that inspection and maintenance, as we all know, goes a long way toward preventing premature roof replacement. So when we're thinking about we're thinking that we may have to replace a roof, what are the considerations that we should keep in mind? Well, first, if we have a roof that's had chronic leaks over many years and the insulation's wet, it's probably a candidate for replacement. Age can be a factor, but it's not necessarily determinant. Age is an indicator. If the benchmark life of roofs is 20 years, then when we hit in that 17 to 25-year age range, we're probably in the range to be budgeting for replacement. And the kinds of things that help us decide whether it's time to do it now or not are these. Is it a mission-critical building? Is this a building full of electronics and computers and mission-critical equipment like a computer data center, or is it a warehouse? If it's a warehouse, maybe we can go a little longer. The need for improving the drainage on the building, the need for improving wind resistance, and the need for improving energy efficiency. All of those are factors in considering whether to re-roof or not. And we should be planning for those kinds of things as we move forward with our budgeting process. Now, I mentioned wet insulation a minute ago. How do we know if we have wet roof insulation? Well, one of the ways we can know is to have a professional conduct an infrared survey on the roof. Infrared surveys are done at night, preferably in cooler weather, and they contrast the presence of wet insulation with dry insulation. Wet insulation does not insulate. It conducts, not insulates. Therefore, it's warmer on a cold night because it's transmitting the internal building heat. So, in the center picture, that's a daytime picture of a particular area which was suspected to have wet insulation. On the upper right is the infrared, the color infrared, and those red areas indicate wet insulation. And then the picture on the left is really the same picture as the one on the far right, except it's just the black and white version of that. So conducting an infrared is a tool to determine whether you may or may not have wet roof insulation. So part of what we want to be doing then is we want to establish priorities.